Number 23. Allow Baton Pass to transfer the effect of Mean Look, Block, and Spiderweb, colloquially known as Trap Passing. You know, I never understood why they took that out in Generation 5, Generation 2, Generation 3, Generation 4. It worked just fine, it didn't break anything, but suddenly they decide to get rid of it? I mean, it was the one thing that made Umbreon viable, so now what's it gonna do? Nothing! So, yeah, I don't know why they changed that. What were they thinking? As I said, it's not like it was such an overused tactic. Umbreon was sometimes overused, sometimes not in Generation 4, as I recall, but it wasn't on every goddamn team. Trap passing is just one of those things that you can do for fun, and with Gothitelle getting Shadow Tag and Chandelure's presumably going to get it eventually, even there, trap passing might not be as effective as just straight up trapping with Shadow Tag. So, what gives? Just give us that option back. That's all I have to say. I mean, geez, it's just common sense. Number 24. Increase Stanch's flinch rate from 10% to 30%. Now, don't get me wrong. I am thankful that Stanch finally does something in battle instead of just lowering encounter rates outside of battle. For all that it's rather useful in game, but I think all abilities should at least have some use in the battle itself. And so I gotta give props to Game Freak for actually doing that. Unfortunately, 10%, that's just not enough, especially considering what gets it. We've got Muck, we've got Garbodor, and we've got Skuntank. And those three aren't exactly speed demons. Now remember, in order to be able to use Flinch effectively, you gotta be fast. And Skuntank at base 84 speed is the fastest of the three. Other than that, you got Garbodor at 75 and Muck at 50. So that flinch rate, even if it was increased to 30%, well, that would be very useful for those Pokemon if they're able to use it. And given how Muck is so slow, it's probably not going to be flinching anything anytime soon, even if the rate is increased to 50% or beyond. But that would still be a start. Stench would actually make something fairly interesting to help that bunch of underpowered Pokemon. Because right now, Stench, on a scale of 1 to 50 Shades of Grey, it has to be Metroid high. And finally, number 25, remove Solar Power's HP drain. Yes, I went there. I did something to help Charizard. All joking aside, though, Solar Power's HP drain, well, it sort of makes sense considering that, from the perspective of Charizard, when it's in the sun, its fire moves are already boosted, and then it gets a special attack boost on top of that, which makes pretty much any special move Charizard uses, and to a lesser extent Sunflora and Tropius, but once again, it's Sunflora and Tropius. No amount of tweaking is going to make them godly. So Charizard is really the most notorious user of that ability, and yeah, that makes it so that, it has monstrous firepower in the sun and all, but at the end of the day, it's still Charizard. It's just not really all that good. So taking away the HP drain might do something to help its survivability, especially considering that Stealth Rock is around, even though I suggested a nerf at the very start of this thing. And another thing to consider is that if you're going to take this project as a whole, I also suggested nerfing Permanent Weather, which would make Solar Power a whole lot less effective suddenly because, well, anything that has to do with nerfing weather is going to hurt the abusers by ricochet. And as I said, Charizard, once again, at its core, just isn't that good a Pokemon. So, even in the best case scenario, where they do nerf Stealth Rock, but they don't touch weather, it's still going to be a needed change if Charizard is ever going to get out of Never Used. So that about does it for this project. These are the 25 things that I would do if I were the Game Freak employee in charge of doing things like that. Now, of course, this probably is going to be nothing like what we're going to end up seeing. And what are we going to see in the future? The clock is slowly ticking, and I'm looking forward to finding out all that stuff with you. So on that note, I'll see you next time.